Chris, some reflections from you on those?
Yeah, it's interesting, Aaron. I appreciate you taking the lead on this one. And last point, middle of the sentence, it says measurable. And when measurable now in the context of the fire service, it takes me back to something I heard last year, where somebody said, if it can be measured, it can be improved upon. And what we need to make sure we're doing is we have a reasonable sense of measuring the output of training. And how do we do that? We should be doing post-incident reviews, and that gives us a snapshot of, hey, is our outcome aligned with what we're doing in a training context? And then, making sure that there's a training feedback loop. And I think that, all of us have discussed about having the instructor that comes out, hey, this sucks. Sorry, we just got to get through it. Minimum level of consciousness, maintain, checkbox. Well, does anybody hear about that? Is there a feedback loop that, people need to be willing to be vulnerable and say, hey, look, man, you have great content, but your delivery's crap. Wow. So the message is being convoluted by the messenger or not translated by the messenger. And I think that that's an important piece. And so that's one way. That's actually two ways that we can measure the efficiency or the efficacy of our training programs.
Rami, thoughts on this?
Just wrapping it up and to build on it, your message for yourself, if you're the one who's going to be running the program or directly teaching, or those that you're going to be mentoring, is focusing on what here is going to be relevant to making a difference for the firefighters that are going to be in this program, just as we've been talking about all along. And the thing that we haven't mentioned as much, or we danced around a little bit, is figuring out, even if it's not something that would normally excite you, what can you get excited about in this content? It's going to make a difference. It doesn't have to be your passion project, but you have to get excited about it so that you're not, as we've said a million times, going in apologizing. I know the gut feeling to want to do that, but you got to go in and be excited for the difference that this training is going to make. And how can you get excited about it? Because you're going to make that difference. And everybody wants to make a difference. If they didn't want to make a difference, they wouldn't be firefighters in your department.
Final slide. Would you like
Thank you.
Oh, there it is.
So Billy, I could step in here, Billy. Yeah, well, our final poll is just obviously Lexpol has multiple solutions and resources to help you out with training and risk management. So if it's something you'd like to learn more about, please answer that poll. But thank you so much. This has been a great discussion. I love the passion here, and I think we've really covered a lot of ground. We've got a great crowd. We've got some questions coming in, so I'm just going to take a couple, and then we'll wrap up so that we don't take up too much of the time. But one of the key questions I really think is a great one, is that about 90%, and this, to be fair, this webinar's focus was on tactical training, but the attendee here makes a great point, which is about 90% of their training is on operational skills, but 90% of the discipline and personnel challenges are really interpersonal and leadership issues. So I'd love to get the panel's thoughts on that, and whether that should actually be part of that risk assessment as well.
I'll do a roll call. I'll